We are live. We are live. Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our ever-growing channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends. Welcome into the studio that sits on the corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe. Hit the notification bell. You know when we're coming up live. You get notified. Episodes, live shows, watch parties. We're also doing early peak episodes with an early peak membership. We'll talk about that later in the show. Portal news is still, well, it's getting hotter and hotter and hotter, and it's going to get really blazing hot on December 4th. Because right now, what you're seeing is players entering the transfer portal, if officially right now, if they are a grad student, or if they coach just left, like, for example, Indiana's Hoosiers head coach Tom Allen, he got fired. So you're seeing a bunch of Indiana Hoosiers enter the transfer portal. There are players who are declaring their intent to go into the transfer portal. They're not officially in the transfer portal. They can't be officially in the transfer portal until December 4th. And remember, the transfer portal is only 30 days long. There's only a 30-day window. It's been cut back from 45 days to 30 days. So keep it's more compressed. There's going to be a whole lot of people in there. So it's going to be a little crazy. Does my audio sound okay to everybody? Give me a Y if it's okay. Give me an N if it's no. For some reason, it sounds a little echoey here. Y? Corey says Y, JT. Okay, thank you guys. I appreciate it. So we've got Oregon State, Washington State. Breaking news. Ross Dellinger, Yahoo Sports. It sounds like they've got a scheduling agreement in hand. About to be announced officially with the Mountain West Conference. There's a little bit of very interesting information in this article that we're going to go through. These Mountain West schools now, remember, it sounds like they're going to a 7+1 model. They're going down to 7 conference games plus 1 against Oregon State or Washington State. These Mountain West schools, they're going to get some money out of this. 1-year agreement, they're going to get some cash. I think more than I would have thought they were going to get. We're going to get into that in a little bit. There is rumors about, again, Malik Murphy. Is he going to enter the transfer portal? The backup quarterback at the Texas Longhorns. There's more smoke with Riley Leonard. Possibly another Notre Dame target. Notre Dame. Notre Dame played against Riley Leonard. He was beat up in that game, but they know that the talent level that Riley Leonard has, he is a dog. He's a very, very good player. Breaking news about 20 minutes ago, the Greek Rifle. Minnesota Golden Gophers starting quarterback Ethan Kaliakmanis has entered the transfer portal. Gopher by the grace of God, once a Gopher, always a Gopher. Good luck to you, Mr. Kaliakmanis. The Greek Rifle is entering the transfer portal. Now, yesterday, for the first time definitely the first time under PJ Fleck, first time that I can remember, we actually offered a quarterback in the transfer portal. The New Hampshire quarterback, one of the leading FCS quarterbacks, led FCS in all touchdown passes. And I was really excited because that means that PJ Fleck, they know they're going to offer other quarterbacks, but they know they have to go in the portal. And sure enough, once Minnesota did that, Ethan Kaliakmanis, Minnesota, dreadful in the passing game. Dreadful. It's not just Ethan Kaliakmanis' issue. It's a whole lot of issues with our passing attack. It's been going on for years, except for 2019. It's been going on for years and years and years. Who's going to be the quarterback for Minnesota? The 5-7 Minnesota Golden Gophers bowl game, probably in the Quick Lane Bowl, probably against the Ohio Bobcats or Northern Illinois. Who's going to be the quarterback? Well, unfortunately, I had to put a tweet out saying that, 35 years ago, when I was 20 years old, I broke my right elbow. I don't know if you can, it's still a long scar. I don't know if you can see that. I broke that in 3 different places. Playing broom ball. You probably don't know what broom ball is. It's like hockey. It's like hockey, but you're wearing, you use this broom to hit a ball around in an ice rink. Very popular sport in Minnesota, as you can imagine. I was playing in the playoffs in the Minneapolis League. 10 below weather, minus 10 degrees. and I broke my elbow in 3 different places. I only can throw a football literally 3 yards. Probably not even out of my fat shadow. So unfortunately, I will not be able to be the quarterback of the Minnesota Golden Gophers when they 5-7 Gophers when they go in the bowl game. I have no idea who's going to be the quarterback of the Gophers. They have Kramer Cook, who's a 5-6 year quarterback. I don't even know if he's going to stick around. I suppose if you want. Or we have this guy named Viota, who's never played a lick. So I don't know what's going to happen there. But good luck to Ethan Kaliakmanis. Gophers have a high school kid, Arkansas, Drake Lindsey. He's going to be the quarterback in the state championship game. Gophers offered him. He's had an unbelievable year in the state of Arkansas. Other people are poking and prodding, probably going to try to steal him away from us. Signing day is December 20th. True freshman, can he be a quarterback, a true freshman next year? Probably not. So the Gophers are going to have to bring in at least one transfer quarterback. At least one. Bring in 2. Bring in at least 2. Gophers are in trouble. That's going to be what I'm talking about through the offseason when it comes to my beloved Minnesota Golden Gophers. Arch Mannington, Minnesota. Yeah. Gophers. Go ahead, look it up. Go ahead. Take the last 5 years and add up all the passing yards of the Minnesota Gophers the last 5 years. Do the last 7 years. Go ahead. Add it all up. They're going to be dead last in all of Power 5 football. No, not just Power, all of FBS football, except for maybe Army, Navy, Air Force, the academy schools. It's going to be very difficult to have a quarterback out there that is willing to trust the University of Minnesota football program to say, yeah, that's where I want to go. That's where I can improve my NFL stock. That's where I want to go. Yeah, so maybe we can get the New Hampshire quarterback. Who knows? Okay, enough about the Gophers. You did not come here to listen to Golden Gopher talk. I have no idea, Kenneth. Like I said, who's ever coming in the portal, whoever we get in the portal, will be the starting quarterback next year. Or the true freshman Drake Lindsey, if he even signs on December 20th. You would think he'd want to come here because he could play right away. But he's having such an incredible year. He's going to win some Arkansas war. He's already been offered. We might lose him. We'll see what happens. His grandfather was a former running back of the Minnesota Vikings in the late 1960s. So maybe because his grandfather, Minnesota ties, Vikings, maybe he sticks with the Gophers. We shall see. And if you missed it, episode 337 we did this morning for everybody, an episode in regards to Delaware. We're going to hit that. UMass. They could be the next school. In the next 30 days, it's being reported. Let me show you real quick. If you haven't seen our episode, let me give you the front page of it. UMass Minuteman from Daily Hampshire Gazette. With Delaware set to join Conference USA, UMass once again is in conference alignment discussion. And by the end of the article, it sounds like we're going to know in the next 30 days or by the end of this year UMass, are they going to go to the Conference USA to become the 12th football member? Or are they going to go back to the MAC? They were in the MAC conference before. Their football program was. They did not want to send all their sports to the MAC. And the MAC conference wanted all UMass sports teams. UMass said nope. They left. Are they coming back? We shall see. We shall see. Before we get on to the breaking news of Washington State and Oregon State signing a scheduling agreement with the Mountain West for next season, I want to thank the people who've come in here today. Skull Ducky's in the house. James Foster, Peak Early member. Richard L. Randy Taylor. Jeff Jorgensen's in the house. The Evil Badger, who's got my axe. The Evil Badger, who's got my axe. Jeff Olson is in the house. Kyle Visser. Early Peak member Ted Evans. Early Peak member Jay Turtle. We're both bowling. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. I don't know. I mean, Gophers might not even have enough players, to be honest with you. Jared Jones. Early Peak member, Mr. Buckeye's in the house. Richard L's in the house. Awesome Clips is in the house. Steve says he's getting a bit of an echo. I kind of hear it a little bit as well. I'm not sure what I can do about it. Kenneth Evans says Oregon State's schedule is not going to look like that. Ross is floating some stuff for someone. We knew before today that this was going to be announced soon. That has been reported in other places. So let's take a look at the article. Let's take a look at the breaking news. Before we came on live, sources, Oregon State, Washington State, finalizing scheduling alliance with the Mountain West Conference. Again, Ross Dellinger, Yahoo Sports, Oregon State, Washington State, and the Mountain West are in the final stages of striking a football scheduling agreement for the 2024 season that includes a lucrative financial package for the Mountain West schools. Sources tell Yahoo Sports. Like I said at the beginning of the show, the Mountain West schools are getting paid. You're going to see it here in the next paragraph. The remaining two members of the Pac-12 and the Mountain West are finalizing the long talk about partnership with an announcement planned in the coming days. The agreement for now is just one season. It is expected to include a fee of about $14 million paid to the Mountain West. That's over $1 million a school. That's a pretty good payday. The alliance is built around what's termed a 7+1 format, where the Mountain West teams play 7 conference games, not 8, plus 1 game against either Washington State or Oregon State. There is an option to extend the deal to 2025 season as well. And it probably will happen. Or the merger will happen by then. I'm guessing the merger is going to happen before the 2026 season. The 2 Pac-12 members will not be eligible for the Mountain West Conference Championship and will compete as quasi-independents under the Pac-12 banner. Those Mountain West schools who previously scheduled non-conference games against one of the 2 schools will play the other as well during the same season. While there is not expected to be a contractual requirement for a long-term merger, like the pen is not on paper, right? Between the 2, there is an intent and an understanding of a full-time membership for Oregon State and Washington State in the Mountain West, or a merger. And I think the difference is having to do with whatever happens with the court case between the Pac-10 schools and Oregon State and Washington State. And there was some news that broke on that right before we came on live, and I'll share it with you when we get a chance. Basically, the state of Washington Supreme Court has stayed the previous court decision. We'll get into that in a little bit. As for the broadcasting rights, Mountain West home games against Oregon State, Washington State will be televised in a regular fashion. So Mountain West home games, right? Nevada, Colorado State, Utah State, their home games against Oregon State and Washington State are going to be televised by the Mountain West TV partners, Fox and CBS Sports Network. The league will keep the additional media rights revenue from those games to be distributed across the country. Oregon State and Washington State, their home games, are likely to be negotiated separate broadcasting agreements with those networks and potentially others to televise their own home games. So for now, the scheduling alliance is for football only. Oregon State, Washington State are still negotiating with the Mountain West Conference when it comes to exploring a similar scheduling agreement for the basketball teams, for the men's, the women's. Though that agreement is likely weeks away. Oregon State and Washington State are in discussions with other leagues to create affiliate memberships for their other sports. And what comes to mind is, hold on. For example, and maybe you have an idea what's going to happen in the chat. So put it down in the PATC chat room. Where is Washington State and Oregon State's baseball teams going to go? Oregon State baseball is a big, big deal. Is there a better northern collegiate baseball program than Oregon State right now? I'm talking northern region. Oregon State has a fantastic baseball program. What conference is Oregon State going to play in when it comes to their baseball? It doesn't sound like it's going to be with the Mountain West at this point in time anyways. We shall see. Where is Oregon State's baseball program going to play? Who are they going to play with? Now, the transfer portal opens Monday. Oregon State already lost his coach, Jonathan Smith, who left for Michigan State. Administrators from both schools have said publicly that they will continue to financially support their athletic programs at a Power 5 level using state and school funds as well as those Pac-12 assets that they get in whatever the result of this legal wrangling going on between Oregon State, Washington State, and the other 10 previous Pac-12 schools. So that's the story. Oregon State, Washington State, the football scheduling agreement is at hand for next year. It's going to be announced in the next few days, probably by the end of the week, which is great news because the Mountain West schools, they want to know what their football schedule is, right? The dates, the matchup, the dates, just like everybody else. They're going to be making more coin after this. $14 million for 2024. That's for 1 year. If it goes to 2025, they probably should expect another $14 million. That's some good money for the Mountain West schools. That's over $1 million a piece. Right? WCC has pretty good baseball. Thank you, Stephen McNeely. Early peak member coming in. Can go to Big West, Fullerton. Yes. Good one, JB. That's a possibility as well. That is a possibility as well. Lannis 31. I could see the Big 12 going after Oregon State baseball. Would Oregon State agree with that? I don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so. I don't think so. It would be difficult, right? The relationships. B. Cal said, this is so lame. The Big Ten and the Pac-10 should have had a quasi-merger instead of this nonsense. A lot of good comments. Go Black says UMass adds nothing to any conference. I'm wondering though if the Delaware move, Delaware $5 million application fee. Delaware saw that it was a value for them to move from FCS to an FBS conference, right? Now, even though Delaware has been FCS, their football program has been much better than UMass over the last 10 years. Delaware has been a consistent contender in FCS. I know that's a step down, but they did the $5 million application. It sounds like everything's a go. They're going to be included in the Conference USA. If Conference USA is interested, and they are, obviously, in a Delaware, and Delaware becomes their 11th football school, maybe the plan is UMass is their 12th school. If you look at Conference USA, I'll put it up on the board. I did this in the live show yesterday. I'll do it again. If you look at the geography of Conference USA, it kind of makes sense. Except for, well, you can see why a UMass would work. Let me put up on the board. Just my opinion. Now, SMU is leaving, right? But you have UTSA. I'm sorry, that's the American Athletic Conference. Conference USA. Here we go. You have Liberty in Virginia, New Mexico State, Jacksonville State, Alabama. That's what Jacksonville State is. You got Kentucky. You got Tennessee. You got Louisiana. There you got your two Texas schools, and you've got Florida. So now you're adding a Delaware. You're also adding Kennesaw State. You're adding, which is Georgia. So you've got Georgia, Florida, two Texas, Louisiana, a Tennessee, a Kentucky, an Alabama, a New Mexico State, a Virginia. I mean, and now you've got Delaware. It seems to me that if you find value in a Delaware, you would find value in a Massachusetts to have two teams up in the Northeast, in the England area, in the New England area, to get that media. I think it looks like, from just a pure geography plan that Conference USA has is that they would be interested in a UMass. There's 9 schools here. You got Kennesaw State coming. You have Delaware coming. You probably don't want to be with the 11 schools. Conference USA making sure they have enough members. Remember, there's strength in numbers. I don't know. I think it's I think Conference USA, there might be a pathway there from UMass. UMass doesn't want to go back to the MAC. They didn't want to have all their sports in the MAC. This is something I think both sides are probably pretty interested in. Jim Choi, yes, Delaware got some big dough. The new criteria for D1 athletics is big-time investments by universities now. Yes, they have competed at a very high level. Obviously, they did not blink when the new rule came into place where they had to pay $5 million application fee versus the $5,000 that Sam Houston State had to pay last year, that a Jacksonville State had to pay last year. $5 million. $5 million is a whole lot more than $5,000. But Delaware did not blink, did they? Delaware did not blink. Jeff Watson, Will Howard's situation reminds me somewhat of Hurt at Alabama. What about, what about the University of Miami? Would Will Howard be interested in going to finish out his collegiate career at the University of Miami? Because Tyler Van Dyke just went into the portal. Will Howard's going to have some options. No question about it. John Teal hopes that Delaware runs the wing T. Jim Choi, Delaware's famous wing T offense. They didn't block the ruling. They issued a temporary stay while it's being reviewed. Let me put that up here. Let me see. There's different reporting going on. I know I saw something different here. CBS Sports is reporting previously Oregon State, Washington State were given full control of the Pac-12 board after a ruling in Whitman County Court after claiming precedent that departing schools lost voting power. The departing 10 members said the bylaws did not require them to lose voting power. That ruling means they're reinstated as voting members. From Oregon State and Washington State side, there's concern that the remaining 10 schools will vote to liquidate or shut down. We've heard all this before. So basically, the board is frozen until a full hearing can be held and decided by the state of Washington Supreme Court. So basically, it's a stay, right? It's a stay on the previous court's decision. It was 5 schools. Will Howard is considered Auburn, Kentucky, Louisville, Missouri, and Washington. I did see that report as well. I've seen quite a few different reports. First of all, it was Notre Dame. I can see why Notre Dame would be interested in Riley Leonard if he entered the transfer portal, because Notre Dame has seen Riley Leonard up close. Louisville with Jeff Brom. Will Howard with Jeff Brom. Aiden O'Connell's in the NFL. Aiden O'Connell was a very good Purdue quarterback. It took him 2, 3, 4, 5 years of development before it finally clicked for Aiden. And then it finally clicked. Purdue won the Big Ten West Division last year. And then Jeff Brom went to Louisville. You see what he's done there with Plummer. Will Howard. Could Jeff Brom elevate Will Howard's game? That's an interesting one. Washington, Grubb, interesting. Missouri, isn't Brady Cook? Brady Cook, let me check Brady Cook here. I am not sure. Let's just give a look. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, I don't know, guys. Brady Cook has more eligibility left. Very good. Last year, Brady Cook from Missouri, he basically came out of nowhere, had a very good season. 14 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, a 133.2 rating, threw for 2,700 yards, 65% completion percentage. And then this year, almost 3,200 yards, 20 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 158.1. He's coming back next year, right? Brady Cook? I'm not sure why Missouri would be in the Will Howard, why they would have interest in Will Howard. Brady Cook has eligibility. He's got one more year. Is Brady Cook, has he decided that he's going in the NFL draft? So I don't know about that report about Missouri. That kind of surprises me. When you're developing a guy like that, what John Grove says, I doubt Howard has any interest in Missouri. I'm doubting Missouri would have any interest in Howard, and that's not a shot against Will Howard. Yeah, I don't know. He at least has one more year. Awesome Lawson Clips, of course, is saying Louisville. Rumor out of Oregon, NE. They will pursue a portal quarterback, Oregon, but it's being said player they're going after will shock the country in college football. Well, let me know who that is. Thank you, John Teal, for your super chat. I appreciate your continued generosity to this channel. Malik Murphy to Miami of Florida. I heard a couple reports about Malik Murphy, Ohio State Buckeyes. Could be. We're going to be hearing a lot of smoke. We're going to be hearing a lot of rumors coming up. Now, if you are interested, I haven't shown this yet on this live show. If you're interested, we do provide even more content than ever before. We started about 9 days ago. A lot of new members. We're doing an early peak member where you membership episodes college football's early peak. With the membership, $5.99 a month, extra content, you get the early peak. Early peek on nuggets of information that we've been passing on through early peek and talking about things that we can't really get to when it comes to our live shows and our watch parties. So if you are interested, hit the join button, become an early peek member of the college football's peek around the corner. It has been going great. A lot of members in our first 9 days. So I thank you for your support. I hope I'm giving you the content that you desire. Smash the like button if you like the content. If you don't, hit the thumbs down button and let me know in the comment section or by Twitter what I can do to improve the content, the experience for you here at College Football's Peek Around the Corner. Kenneth Evans, quarterback, UConn, just hit the portal. Does Will Howard know how to roll the boat again? Unfortunately, Fighting Illini, Ted, he's not coming to Minnesota. Number one, the University of Minnesota does not offer NIL inducements. Only when you become a member of the football program does the NIL opportunities open up for you. So the University of Minnesota, they follow the rules. And a lot of schools do, and you can tell who does and who doesn't. There's a report out there that Cameron Ward has been offered millions of dollars by multiple schools. The Washington State Cougar quarterback, he's going to go in the portal. Well, we're not one of them. Minnesota's not one of them because we don't give offers out. We do say to the student, you can talk to other student athletes on the team. You can see what they're making, get an idea for it. But until you enter in our program, those things won't open up. So Will Howard's not going to be in. Plus, we have no history of actually completing the forward pass at Minnesota. So Will Howard is not coming to Minnesota. We're not a candidate for a lot of these quarterbacks. Maybe for that New Hampshire quarterback because he wants to be a doctor and he's in the master's program. Hopefully we get an FCS quarterback at the University of Minnesota. I have no idea. Great question. I will say this, Ted. It's a guess on my part. But I think he's going to be playing for Northern Illinois, Southern Illinois, Illinois State, something like that. He's from the state of Illinois. I think he's going to drop down. Is he going to try to... Look, let's be blunt. In the Big Ten West this year, Northwestern lost their starting quarterback. Iowa lost their starting quarterback. Illinois, Luke Altmaier was lost for a few games. Mordecai, Wisconsin lost their quarterback for a few games. Purdue, Hudson Card was out for a little bit. Who else am I missing? Nebraska, they went through 3 of them. None of them are any good. But the point is, Minnesota, we actually did not lose our quarterback. He actually started every game. This was his second season. So there's no excuses. There's nothing that I can say, Ted. The reason he's not developed it because he hasn't had time. He hasn't had the snaps. We have no excuses. He hasn't developed. Great kid. I hope all the world for. He's got skill. He can throw the ball. He can run. But in the game, when the bullets are flying, it ain't working. It's not working. So I'm going to I'll make a prediction of Northern Illinois, who, by the way, might be the team Minnesota plays in the bowl game. Northern Illinois or the Ohio Bobcats in Detroit, Michigan. So we might be playing against North. I don't know. Good question. Good question. Again, Luke Altmaier, he's better than the Greek Rifle. I mean, Hudson Card. Again, we had the worst quarterback. We had the worst production out of the quarterback position for what? The 40th year out of the last 45 years? Okay. I wouldn't say, it's not like they don't believe, none of the Big Ten West teams believe in NIL. It's not that they don't believe in NIL, it's that they have such strong compliance departments. The universities won't allow, the University of Minnesota is so strict. If you don't got the grades, you ain't a coming. You're not getting in the door. No Dinky Town Athletics, the collection, cannot offer they go by the rules. A lot of Big Ten schools go by the rules. They just do. Because of this university has such a, and I'm not, schools should go by the rules, right? At some point, schools will have to go by the rules. Once there's a different governing body, it's more of a professional structure. So it's not that they don't believe in the NIL, it's that they believe in the NIL the way that everybody agreed that it should be run. But a lot of schools are not running it that way. They all have NIL collectives. They just, even Nebraska, who's got a whole lot of money in their NIL, they are not offering inducements. The student athletes have a pretty good idea, like a Jeff Sims, and they have a pretty good idea that Nebraska can offer them a lot. But even Nebraska, Trev Alberts, they're going by the rules. And I know a lot of schools out there are not. That's just because these schools are their compliance departments in the Big Ten are incredibly strict. That's why they were so pissed at Michigan for doing what they did. It's not that they don't want to pay NIL deals. It's just that they're going by how the rules are. So you can't complain. You can't come in the chat room. Well, you can if you want, but you can't. You're being hypocritical if you're raking Michigan over the coals for breaking a rule while cheering on other schools for breaking NIL rules for inducement before they get into the program, because you're breaking rules like that as well. So, try to be consistent. Try to be consistent. Yeah, yes, Minnesota always has a great running game. We can recruit running backs. We can recruit offensive linemen. We recruited a great Rashad. We've had some decent wide receivers, but the quarterback position, the Big Ten West schools aren't really top 20 in academic rankings. Northwestern, University of Minnesota, University of Wisconsin, Purdue. No, that's, I got to disagree with you on that, Jim. I'm not sure where you're getting that. Not sure. Those are all just massive research universities. Maybe they fall out just outside the top 20. What good does it do to abide by the rules when college athletics is currently a lawless land? Well, at some point, I think it's going to be tightened up. We're going to have some governing body that's going to have enforcement rules, and then you're going to get punished. Again, I ask you, because 99% of the people that were in the chat were very offended by what Michigan did for breaking the rules. But you're not offended by potentially your school for breaking NIL rules. Got to be consistent, or maybe you don't have to. But there's a lot of schools out there that the compliance department will not allow it. That's just the way it is. Okay, let me check if now I'm going to open up the phone lines here. You can give us a call. Hold on, everybody. Hold on. Give us a call at 763-260-1333. You can talk about anything in college football that you want. Washington State, Oregon State. An agreement. Scheduling agreement with the Mountain West schools. Looks like it's close at hand. It's going to be announced here within the next couple of days. Mountain West schools getting $14 million spread upon those 12 schools. That's pretty good. That's pretty good money.
Call from
Kansas State fan.
Kansas State fan is on the line. Will Howard. Portal, what's going on, sir?
Oh my goodness. Crazy times. Honestly, I was not expecting for Will Howard to be the biggest one to really get this portal up and moving. But I will come out and say this, and I really wanted to get it out there during the past live show as well. But Will Howard's situation is a little bit more complicated than everyone's anticipating, and we need to stress that we can only speculate it as to his own thinking and desires as well.
Sure.
But from the K-State standpoint, the conclusion which seems the most obvious is that Howard knows that Avery Johnson is going to end up being the starter next year for K-State.
Yeah.
And it's equally obvious that K-State would have to have a very difficult time keeping both quarterbacks on the roster next year as well. And I think that especially leads to I mean, if the roles were reversed, if Will Howard was staying and if he was remained as a starter, I think that would lead to Avery Johnson leaving, especially considering he used the year of eligibility this year instead of redshirting. He's already played past 4 games as well. So that I mean that might not be the real issue, the real reason or the real issue, but even if there is more to it, the stress of the following is just a lot of speculation as to potential factors as well. But I think part of it as well is Howard is looking to get drafted. I don't think he's following like the show me the money path, where a lot of players these days are going after the NIL money. I think Will Howard. I think he wants to get drafted. He's on people's rankings of draft-eligible quarterbacks as a potential day 3 pick. But a season somewhere else might give Howard the opportunity to increase his stock even further in a way another year in Manhattan may not. And I think we can't discount the possibility that Howard himself feels like Johnson's earned the shot as well and just wanted to clear space for him as well. But and then I think the other factor as well is that he returned last year along with the entire offensive line, and a lot of the guys are going to be either graduating or going to the NFL draft. So in a way, he's kind of been more close to them, and a lot of it. I mean, he would be playing with a lot of new guys for next season as well. So, but those would probably be my 3 main factors to why Will Howard is leaving.
Yeah. Kansas State fans, right? You got to be pretty excited. First of all, Will Howard did such a great job with the football program, right? I mean, he's done a great job. But now you have to be really juiced up about the era of Avery Johnson is finally beginning next year. Are you juiced up about it? Are you excited?
Well, I mean, we saw hints of Avery Johnson this season, but
yes.
I will say, I mean, Will Howard was an absolute stud, and you look back to the 2020 season, he got placed into a bad situation with Skylar Thompson getting injured midway through the season. They had to throw Will Howard right into the mix as a freshman, and he stuck through the lowest of lows. It was not easy for him. I mean, there was even a possibility at one point that he would have quit football, but he held in strong in case they got through an offensive coordinator change, and really that really ramped up his game, especially last year where he led K-State to a Big 12 championship. He also, and then this year he passed the previous record for career passing touchdown records with 48 all time as a Wildcat. So it was, it was fashionable to. I mean, for the amount of success he's had, there was a lot of criticism thrown his way as well. There was a lot of people this season that were saying, "Hey, we should just give it to Avery Johnson at this point." For the most part, I defended Howard, but his real problem was the receivers. And once the likes of Keegan Johnson and Jace Brown emerged, the passing from Will Howard improved tremendously. So forever a Wildcat legend. Hopefully, he ends up in the K-State Ring of Honor someday.
I think he will.
But but going back to what you said, it is officially Avery Johnson time.
Yes, it is.
We will see what happens there. We were expected to have two quarterbacks for the bowl game, Avery Johnson, and then Greg. This one might sound a little bit familiar to you, but do you recall Jacob New by any chance?
Yeah. Yep. Now is he going to be your backup quarterback?
Well, a lot of K-State fans were under the assumption that he was going to be the backup quarterback for the bowl game, but he's redshirting this year, and I think there's just some complications here or there with the NCAA. So it looks like Avery's going to be the only quarterback, but it's just kind of bizarre with the timing because we were all thinking to ourselves, what did we get Jacob Newt there for? We got a lot of quarterbacks in the QB room. Well, little did we know at the time that it was not just Will Howard, but you also had Jake Rubley and Adrian Lara, the other two backup QBs that have decided to enter the transfer.
Yeah, I heard that Rubley went into the portal. Newth, he committed to Minnesota. Right before he committed to Minnesota a couple years ago, Kansas State took a big run at him.
Yep.
I think we were under the assumption he was going to flip his commitment. He didn't. He signed with Minnesota. But the whole time was like, well, he's... I don't know if... The one thing about Newt is when he was when he was in high school, South Dakota, great athlete. 6'4", 6'5", big kid.
He led his high school to a state championship.
He runs really good for how big he is. The one issue he had I don't know if he still has it, but he had a funky throwing motion. Funky, like he had it felt like he was like shot putting the ball at times. Maybe he smoothed that out. I don't know. I haven't seen him. I mean, we didn't see him at all. You know what? I mostly go to Minnesota practices, and I don't even recall him at a practice. Like, I don't know if he was all nicked up the one year he was with us, so I don't know if he's got that throwing motion smoothed out. But that's what I remember was that throwing motion was kind of funky. Big kid, looks like a great quarterback. If you were doing a movie and you wanted someone to be the quarterback in your movie the way he looked, Jacob Newth is probably your guy. But we'll see what happens. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. But playing for next year, and I guess another factor to point out as well is that not only are we that we're really implementing Avery Johnson into the system now, but we're also bringing in the top-rated quarterback recruit out of Colorado and Blake Barnett as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I believe he did shatter one of the career records of Christian McCaffrey during his time there as well. I haven't fully looked into details as well, but so it goes there as well. But for the bowl game, it'll be Avery Johnson, and I don't know how much the absence of Will Howard is going to play into effect with where K-State's going to end up, because there are 3 to 4 teams in the Big 12. We'll probably, Texas and Oklahoma, Texas, Oklahoma, and Oklahoma State, they're probably in line for either the New Year's Six playoff and the Alamo Bowl, all around that tier. Then you got 4 teams, Iowa State, KU, K-State, and West Virginia, all pretty much all just combined in the league standing. And several of those teams ended up in the same bowl game 1 or 2 years ago. So they're going to just had to completely shuffle around the bowl setup.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see whether or not K-State will end up going to like a Pop-Tarts Bowl or Texas Bowl, or maybe they fall down the lines towards the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. Maybe match up with your Gophers. I don't know. I think the Gophers.
Yeah, I don't even think the Gophers are going to make the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. I think they're going to be even a level lower down than that. I think they're going to be at the Quick Lane Bowl. So, yeah, we're not making it to the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. We are at the bottom of the bottom of the bottom. So
it sounds like Rutgers, Maryland, and Northwestern. Those are kind of the 3 teams that are in the mix for the.
Yeah, I think Northwestern's going to go to the Las Vegas Bowl. And then it's between Rutgers and Maryland. Yeah, for the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. I would agree with that.
Yeah. You were also mentioning realignment about Delaware to the Conference USA. That's probably the first time I've heard Delaware being actually relevant in any conversations, not just with the school, but the state itself. But you did mention UMass as one of the not-beat top candidates for the Conference USA, and you said it was about 30 days as well.
Well, it sounds like we'll find, according to the article, it sounds like in 30 days we're going to find out the future of UMass. So, yep.
I'm not. But one side of me wants to say is like, okay, UMass is an independent. They can move and they can transition from the independents to the Conference USA a little bit more easily. That's what we saw with Liberty and New Mexico State. We saw that with BYU in the Big 12. So there's 2 things that pop into my mind just when thinking about whether or not UMass leaves. Number one, if UMass does leave, the only other independent not named Notre Dame is UConn. And I don't know if UConn has any other option left just for any spot. And it makes it even more difficult because now you're losing. I mean, you could lose UMass as an annual matchup in the independent schedule for that matter, too. So that's probably the thing I look at as number one. And then number 2, if UMass doesn't get added, what would be the chances of potentially like a Missouri State or a Tarleton State or Chattanooga or Eastern Kentucky? There's some FCS schools that are kind of popping out and are kind of wanting to move up, but they have to deal with that $5 million transitioning. The FBS as well.
That $5 million application fee is quite the barrier for many, if not all, those FCS schools trying to possibly move up. I don't know about Eastern Kentucky because they already have Western Kentucky. Yeah. Missouri State. I know Missouri State's been at times over the last few years looking at a potential move. I mean, I think the athletic director even talked about it at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
mean, they pretty much have almost everything said. It's just the timing that they need. Well, I mean, if it was still at $5,000, I guarantee you it would probably be Missouri State joining with Delaware in the Conference USA. But maybe it does throw a little bit of a curveball with the $5 million fee as well. So that's just another thing that just sounds crazy. And I hope for Delaware's sake that the NCAA doesn't place the transitional period like they did with James Madison or Jacksonville State. But the NCAA has just been completely stale and everything. It's been very disappointing. Just really disappointing leadership lately from the organization. So, anyways, Greg, actually, I will throw out one more thing as well. Sorry, I'm making this longer.
No problem.
You did mention possibly possibly the rumors of Will Howard to Notre Dame. One of the insiders for K-State came out on one of the live shows and one of his live shows and said that the door has been pretty much shut between Will Howard and Notre Dame. It looks like the Irish are kind of focusing in on Riley Leonard. Now that Mike Elko is at Texas A&M. That's what one of the insiders at K-State is saying as well. So I'm probably saying in terms of NFL chances for Will Howard, probably Washington gives him the best shot if he's able to kind of get the same success as Michael Penix. I think it's very possible that Will Howard is able to get into the NFL. But sorry, I was kind of a mouthful there for a second.
No problem. No problem, man. I appreciate it.
Sounds good. Hope you have a good day, and God bless. Keep up the great work, Greg.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Kansas State guys. All right. Great phone call by PATC, Kansas State fan, Kansas State guy. Look, Riley Leonard, you can see why Notre Dame would be interested in Riley Leonard. They've watched him. They had a scheme against him, and he had a hurt ankle or foot or whatever, lower leg injury when he played against Notre Dame, and then he couldn't last the game. Riley Leonard, man. Notre Dame, now Duke, they're going to do all they can to keep him, right? So we shall see.
Call from
Steve.
Steve, can you hold on 1 second?
Sure.
Appreciate it. I just want to get to, it was in the chat, breaking news. Noah Kim is in the transfer portal. Michigan State, Adam Rittenberg, has another quarterback in the transfer portal as Noah Kim name is now in there, joined Caton Hauser and Sam Levitt. I was not impressed with Noah Kim. I was not impressed with Mr. Hauser. I was impressed with Sam Levitt, who has got, he can run the ball a little bit. I like how he threw. He had some moxie out there. But Michigan State is losing all three of their quarterbacks. Quarterback 1, quarterback 2, quarterback 3. Jonathan Smith's coming in. Don't know if there's a quarterback 4 on the roster, but they're losing their top 3. I think only Levitt really has any autonomy, school juice to him, in my opinion. Just want to post that. Bearcat Steve. I was hearing a rumor about Cincinnati, and I forgot a quarterback.
Sorsby from Indiana.
Yeah. Brendan Sorsby. Some smoke, rumor. I talked about it yesterday, how much I like Brendan Sorsby of Indiana. He had a very good year last year for Indiana. Very good.
Sure
First
did.
full starting season. I'm sorry, Steve. Go ahead. You have the floor.
No. You're fine, Greg. Is there about 20 other players you'd like to recommend to come to Cincinnati?
Well, I'm too busy giving PJ Fleck a call every 5 minutes in panic mode, trying to find some guys who play for us. So I don't really have time for the Bearcats right now. I've got enough problems here.
So do I with that, from that standpoint. It's funny you mentioned Cincinnati because I want to send out some positive vibes to Washington State and Oregon State, and it's pretty simple. If Cincinnati on a G5 budget can make it to a 14 playoff, then Washington State and Oregon State, on whatever budget they're going to have, will be able to make it to a 12-team playoff.
Yep.
I hope they. I know it's all kinds of negativity right now and well-founded, but there's a way. There's a way for them. An 11-1, either one of those teams may get into a 12-team playoff.
Yeah.
So, other thing I wanted to touch on is UMass. When they were in the MAC, that was at best, after the first year, a lukewarm relationship. I don't ever see them wanting to go back to the MAC, and I don't ever really see the MAC wanting them. Just because of how things turned out in the past. The MAC made a move a year or two ago to go after Western Kentucky and Middle Tennessee.
Yes.
It looked like it was close.
Yeah.
And then for whatever reason between the three parties, it didn't happen. And I don't know that the MAC really wants to look at any expansion because of their regionality. And there's been talk in the past for years of Youngstown State moving up. Youngstown State's got a great stadium, but Akron, Kent State, and Ohio University, as soon as Youngstown State's brought up to come to the MAC, they say no. We don't need somebody else recruiting in that general area that's in the MAC.
Very true. Yeah.
With that being said, something off topic a little bit. I'm all for a college football playoff, but this has been on my mind, and I need your opinion.
Okay.
You're the eighth best team. I'm the ninth best team. I got to come to your place and play. We beat the crap out of each other, right? Just beat each other up. No matter, it doesn't matter who wins. We just physically just beat each other up. We know in a 12-team single elimination bracket who the winners got to play. They got to play the number one seed.
Yeah.
The number one seed is sitting there, and the head coach tells half of his offensive staff and half of his defensive staff, I want you watching the number 18. The other half of both staffs, I want you watching the number 19. Plus, we're going to get a whole week of rest.
Mm-hmm.
So you beat the crap out of me. You're the number 8 seed. You go play the number 1 seed. I'm fearful how those games are going to turn out. I really am, Greg.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I agree with you up to a point. I mean, I agree with you. But the selfish side, okay, let me explain myself. A couple years ago, I made a big deal on Twitter saying, I favored the 8-team playoff or the 16-team playoff because of the reason that you just stated so beautifully. It's college sports, student athletes. I don't want a school to have a week. I don't want that advantage. Professional, that's fine. It just didn't feel right to me with college sports. And I still agree with you, Steve. And when this thing gets bumped up to 16 schools, that's going to be one of the primary topics that they're going to talk about, right? what you just brought up. Selfishly speaking, as a selfish jerk, Steve, I kind of love as a fan the incentive of getting that first round. The 4 teams get a first round bye. The next 4 teams get a home game. You know, I like that. But my mature side of me, the Steve Bearcat side of me, I agree with you. There's something wrong with that, and that's one of the few reasons why I think eventually it gets bumped to a 16 playoff where there's no bye, 16 teams, but there's still going to be probably home field advantage in that first round game.
Right. I don't have a problem with the hometown advantage. I'm with you. I want 8 or 16 teams. I'm not talking blowouts. I'm talking what kind of shape that 8 or 9 team or that 5-12 team that wins is going to be in, what kind of shape they're going to be in physically, let alone the bye teams had plenty of time to recover from some injuries and has had plenty of time to plenty more time to look at tape of one of the 2 potential opponents, which is that part is fine. But I'm just worried about a team beat up going to play one of the first 4 top seeds. That's what I'm concerned about. I know there's been blowouts in a 4 team. I get that. I'm not talking blowouts. I'm talking the safety of the players and what could transpire from 1 week or 10 days going to play a team that's at a week's rest or 2 weeks rest. So that just kind of, I'm all for an extended playoff, as I know you are. 8 or 16 would be fine with me. The 12 I'm just not so keen on because of what I just mentioned.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I agree with you.
Other than that, I know you're focused on what the Gophers are doing, but get any good news on Cincinnati?
Got it.
Shoot me a DM, will you? Because
I've
been getting Corleone's coming back. We got that coming back.
All right,
the Godfather's coming back.
Yeah, I saw that. I did see that. He's your linebacker, right?
No, he's the defensive tackle. He's probably going to be on one of the All-American teams.
Got it. Yeah.
But
we'll keep an eye on Brendan Sorsby.
Yeah, and I know that Indiana's best receivers also got into the portal.
Yep, he did. Yep.
So
McCauley or whatever his name is.
We'll take those 2 as a package deal right now in Cincinnati. Hell, Cincinnati would probably take me, Greg. At this point, I don't know. Yeah. But anyhow,
all right.
Have a good day.
Appreciate it, Bearcat Steve. Great phone call. Okay, we got one breaking news and one other news item I want to get to. Breaking news. Now remember, breaking news, remember this. Let's take a trip back into time. Let's take a look at old Bobby Petrino, head coaching record. Louisville, remember, 9-4, 11-1, 9-3, 12-1. Louisville won the Orange Bowl in 2006. He goes to Arkansas, 5-7, 8-5, 10-3, 11-2. Then back to Louisville, and then things fell off the table. Louisville, Arkansas, Louisville, and now, well, take a look at that. Pete Thamel, ESPN News. Sources, Arkansas is hiring former head coach Bobby Petrino as the school's next offensive coordinator. Petrino has indicated in the recruiting space that he's in the mix for an SEC coordinator job. Bobby Petrino, you say you can't come home again. Bobby Petrino seems like he always comes back home again. Been to Louisville twice. Looks like he might be, well, he's getting vetted. He's getting vetted by Arkansas, possible the new offensive coordinator. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. The drama around college football, holy smokes. Now, there is one other story I want to get to real quick. This is college football's peek around the corner. And I've done this on live shows before. 99.99% of the content on this show is college football. But there is a 0.01% that is about UFO, UAP. I've been called crazy before. In fact, I put up a tweet here. I put up a tweet earlier today. The CIA has an Office of Global Access program to recover crashed UFOs. PATC community thought I was crazy. It turns out I wasn't crazy enough. We may have to talk about this for a minute on today's live show. How much trouble will I get in from YouTube? We're going to find out, because YouTube likes it when you stay in your corner. Now you're saying, Greg, what are you talking about? Greg, you've talked about this before. First of all, let me make something perfectly clear. I have no idea what is going on. All I know, and I've been following this for years, all I know, there's a lot of smart people who do not understand what is up in our atmosphere, what is up in space around Earth. We do not know, we cannot identify everything that's going on around us. What that means, I have no idea. I have no idea. However, there's a breaking story, and I don't know if it's true. You can call me crazy, but I don't know. I have no idea what's going on. But I'm going to bring this up because, well, the CIA, exclusive CIA secret office, has conducted a UFO retrieval missions on at least 9 crash sites around the world. Whistleblower revealed. Take a look at Daily Mail. I know, Greg, you're into gossip. Greg, this isn't real. I'm telling you. David Grush, look up his name. What happened in 2004. Let's just stick with this. The official Global Access, OGA, a wing of the CIA, has played a central role in collecting alien spacecraft since 2003. Sources tell DailyMail.com. At least 9 non-human craft has been recovered by the U.S. government. Some wrecked from a crash, 2 completely intact. The CIA has a system in place that can discern UFOs while they're still cloaked, and special military units are sent to salvage the wreckage, sources said. Now, I did provide a link in my Twitter page. You can go ahead, give it a read. But the Central Intelligence Agencies, according to multiple whistleblowers, have played a central role since 2003 in orchestrating the collection of what could be alien craft. And this, there is an agency out there There is a wing of the CIA agency out there that they've said when something falls from space, a portion of a satellite, the CIA tries to grab that information. They constantly want to learn about technology that maybe their adversaries have. But supposedly some of this stuff is unexplained that they've collected. And the authors of this, they've been doing research forever on this. Every week, almost every week, there's something new. Senator Schumer, New York, has an amendment out there. It looks like it's going to get shot down, but he wants disclosure. Tell the American people, what do we know about UAPs, this unidentified area phenomenon? I have no idea what it is. I don't know what's going on, but we cannot identify everything that's going around us. Is it non-human craft? Is it non-human intelligence? I don't know. Daily.com, or what is it called again? Dailymail.com. Go to my Twitter page. I did not put it in the link provided. Again, this is not college football. This is the 0.01% of what we talk about when we're not talking college football. I don't know if it's just a great psyops, fooling a whole bunch of smart people into believing that there could be something there, or there's been something there for decades and the government has kept it down low because of national security issues. A lot of the stuff that's flying around us, people like to think it's China or Russia, or mostly China, but I got to tell you, China's aircrafts, not just military, but commercial, but mostly military aircraft, they can't match up with the United States aircraft. They're way down in technology. They have to keep stealing our technology. I doubt that China is flying aerial stuff in the air and in space that we can't identify. So what is going on? Is there UFO crashes that the CIA has been collecting for decades? Is the 1933 crash in Italy, the UFO crash that supposedly the United States picked up in the 1940s after World War II, is that all real? I don't know, guys. I don't know, guys and gals, but I wanted to bring that up. That was this morning. A lot of people talking about it. Our web, any word from the Martian Money Perch? I don't know if there's Martians. Don't know. I have no idea. I just wanted to bring that up because it's weird. I've seen some of the phenomenon stuff, and it could be the. You're correct. It could be. Good comment, Brent Terry. It could be. I don't know. There's something we don't understand. And I think it's more than one thing we do not understand. Whether it be in some sort of intelligent design outside of us, or if it's something going on that we don't, atmospheric stuff that we don't understand. I'll check it out. Okay, we're going to close up this live show. I've got some errands I got to run. I just wanted to get this in there. More movement in the portal, more movement with possibly UMass joining Delaware in Conference USA. We're going to find out about that in the next 30 days. Before you leave the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Before you leave the stream, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, smash that like button. I appreciate you all for coming on in. It's a short live show, only about an hour and a half long today. We could be popping up tonight. If there's big breaking news, especially on portal movement, If there's big breaking news, we're going to be covering here at Peek Around the Corner, either by going live or going with an episode. And again, if you're interested, early peak membership, additional content where we give you the nugget before anybody else. Early peak membership, $5.99, just one level of membership. Membership only. College football's early. If you want to join, hit the join button in the College Football YouTube channel. I appreciate you all for coming on in so very much. Until next time, which could be later today. Until next time, from all of us at PATC to all of you, please, you all take great care of each other.